Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We have so many people here, and it is just absolutely fantastic. There are too many comments. I'm going to say hi to as many people as we can. But if I don't get to you, it's not because I don't care. It's just because there are so many of you here asking questions and saying hello. So, for example, hello out there in Nigeria. Amar, hello. More people from Nigeria here. Oh, wow. You're excited? Well, we are excited as well. Jade Anha, hello, hello to you. Hello, hello. So many people. Oh, all the way from Zimbabwe. Wow. Sounds great. Thank you for coming by to hang out with us. All right, let's see who else we got in the building. We got so many people in the building. We got, let's see, somebody from Belize, Ty from Belize. Hello. All the way from Cyprus. Let's go. More friends from India, more friends from Ethiopia. Fantastic. So good to have you all here. Augustine, hello, 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 world. Very good programmer. Joke there. I like that. Apollo, hello. Good to have you. Hello for Bangladesh, Kenya. Let's go. Uganda. Let's go. So many fantastic people. Hello, fellow programmers. I'm happy to be here. Well, we're happy to have you. Thank you for coming on. More friends from Nigeria. Hello, my fellow software engineer. For those who don't know, SWE is software engineer, one abbreviation. More friends from India. Hello. Hi, did the webinar get delayed? No, it did not. We started on time, my paradise. More friends from Ethiopia. Let's go. So many people. Let's see. It would be nice if there were less ungodly hours for those in different time zones. Jared, we're working on that. We're trying to find a better balance. I promise you. All right, let's get started, friends. There are so many of you, and we will spend the whole stream saying hello. But if we didn't say hello, this is your personal hello to say welcome to the stream. All right, my name is Mark. I am one of the senior developer relations engineer at Google working on Angular, and I am joined by none other than the head of curriculum at Sololearn, Mr. Juan Núñez. Juan, how are you doing?
Hello, Mark. Hello, everyone. I'm very good today. Thank you. And you?
Oh, I'm doing so great. I got my morning tea. I don't drink coffee, friends. I drink tea, and I got my morning tea, so I'm like feeling good, feeling great. Mm. I feel even worse now because our friend Jared said this started at 3 a.m. where he is. Okay, so friends, here's something you can always do. You can always leave your comments and questions on any live stream, and then you can watch the replay at a time that's better for you. And we promise to do our best to answer comments and questions. Okay, well, so this live stream is a very special time for us because what our friends may or may not know that are joining the live stream is that the Angular team was able to collaborate with the Sololearn team to create a new course for teaching Angular on the Sololearn platform. But some of us may not be familiar with that complete story. So we invited friends from the Sololearn team to come and hang out with us. And Juan is here to talk to us all about it. So now we'll let Juan do some explaining and just tell the story about what's going on. Over to you, Juan.
Sure. Thank you, Mark. So, hello, everyone. My name is Juan, and I am from Sololearn. So, I'm part of a wider team, the curriculum team, and we are in charge of what we teach and how we teach it. So, I thought that it would be nice to start with an introduction about Sololearn. So, if we can move to the next slide, Mark, that would be great because I have some graphics there.
Oh, my mic was muted. Sorry. No, you can control this. It's all you.
Okay, that's so good. Perfect. So many of you might be wondering what is Sololearn. So for those of you who doesn't know what Sololearn is, we are a code learning platform and a community. We are a massive community of learners. We have over 30 million registered learners. I think what is very good about Sololearn is that we are both on mobile and on desktop. And so that means that there is a website and there is an app, both iOS and Android. So we are a learning platform and a community. And what I really think that makes Sololearn very unique and adds a lot of value to our users is that you can learn from your phone if you want to, anytime, anywhere, on the go, which is great, particularly for beginners. One of the pain points that I found in my experience that many beginners have is having to install in their local machines all the doing all the setups and installing all the code editors. So this is not needed with Sololearn. So you learn on your phone, everything is ready for you. You can start coding from day zero, all you need. So our lessons are bite-sized, and what that means is they are divided in small chunks. That means that you can learn whenever you have time. Most of our users learn on the go. That means that a learning session at Sololearn can take as little as like 5 minutes, 3 minutes. And of course, you can learn as many lessons as you want. Something that our learners appreciate a lot based on their feedback is our approach to learning. So learning in Sololearn is very active. And that is actually what the research says, that that's the best way for people to learn more effectively. So in Sololearn, you learn by doing. And by doing in Sololearn means by coding. So as a learner in Sololearn, you are continuously completing puzzles, quizzes, solving problems, writing code, running code, texting code, fixing errors with code, and that's a highly engaging and rewarding experience. I think probably one of my favorite features about Sololearn is the fact that we have a huge community of learners. They are a helping hand, always there to support you in the journey. We have learners that maybe are more advanced, learners that are very beginners, and this is a great combination because as a learner, what that means to you is that you can learn from others and get the help you need, but also you can support others and teach others. And that's actually one of the things that we found in research that helps people to learn a lot as well. It's playing the role of the teachers and explaining and helping others to learn what you just learned. So that really helps to consolidate knowledge. And with Sololearn, you can learn in-demand skills that are going to benefit your career. So we have courses in web development, Python development, data analytics, front end, back end. So that's Sololearn in a nutshell, I guess.
Fantastic. All right. So that's the Sololearn story. So where does Angular fit into this picture? I'll just say a few words for our friends who may be new to Angular in general, and then we'll spend the rest of the time answering your questions, taking your comments and feedback, and just spending some time with you friends at home. So Angular is Google's web platform for developing web apps. So what we're saying on the Angular team is that we want to give you an opportunity to build scalable web apps using this framework. And when we say scalable, think about where Angular sits in the space for engineering space. Our framework is really what we like to say, just tested through very intense environments. For example, enterprise organizations, large organizations love Angular because people who get hired to work at those places, the strong patterns that we use for Angular help them to be able to jump in right as a developer and then get going. We also have a lot of new and modern features that we just released that really make developing applications for Angular a smooth experience for people new to the framework or people who may have used it before and now they're coming back. So we really do love Angular for enterprise. As someone said, Angular is for real enterprise apps, not for fly-by-night apps. So I think the intention from Ramel here is just to share that enterprise apps, scalable applications. So if you think about the word enterprise, you could also have that to mean scalable because every application wants to be scalable at some point where you can handle lots of users, lots of traffic. Okay, this is, and somebody made a good clarification. It says Angular is for front end, just so y'all know, supposed to make sites pretty easy to make. Yes, Angular is for the front end, and easy to make is relative. We really can't make claims about what's easy because everybody is at a different level in their engineering journey. But we really try to give you the tools, the built-in best practices, and the guidance to make good scalable web apps. Great questions. All right, good feedback. I like this question. Why is everyone using React rather than Angular? I'll tell you why people use React, because like everything else. The same reason people use Svelte, the same reason people use Vue, because everything is great. Okay, people, everything is great. So you use the tool that works for you. We have our advantages on the Angular team, and the other frameworks have their advantages. Okay, so many questions. Are you ready to jump in the questions, Juan?
I am, yeah. I'm happy to provide more context if needed as well. So I
All right,
can
so here's one
show
that
a
I
quick
saw that I
of the
thought was
course as well.
awesome. Can Sololearn recommend us to a company so we can get a job as a junior developer?
So I'll make a start with this. So from testimonies from our learners, they are continuously sharing their certificates on social media, and that has helped them to find jobs, to land a job as a junior developer in many places. Something that is particularly beneficial to land an entry-level job, a junior job, after completing a couple of courses with Sololearn, is building a portfolio. So that's highly beneficial as well. So as you are learning in the app, as you are completing courses in Sololearn, you are going to be also working on projects. And you can build your own portfolio to showcase your projects. And you can use this to help you in a job interview and to land a job.
Fantastic. Okay, friends, I got to set some guidelines. A couple of things is one, be kind to everyone. That's the only way we can really work together and have a good conversation. The second, you don't need to repost your question 3 or 4 times in a row. We will see your question. When you do that, you make it hard for us to actually see your question and the questions of other people. So post your question once. It's not just him and I. We have a team working to look at the questions that are coming through. Okay. So don't worry. We got you. We got you covered. All right. We're going to answer your questions best we can. Okay, let's see. There's so many. Okay, this is a good question. I want to take this one. Why is Angular so important? Well, Angular. So here's what's interesting about Angular that we do. There are thousands of apps inside of Google that use Angular. There are thousands that use Angular. So it's important to Google as well as it's important to the developer community outside of Google. So whenever we make a new feature, for example, that feature has to be tested against thousands of applications. So that means by the time it makes it to the public with open source, that feature has already gone through the paces and people have used it. So that's what makes Angular really important. And it's been one of the foundational frameworks. When Angular launched, a lot of the patterns that we created ended up inspiring other frameworks. So you can check out some interviews from other framework authors, and you'll find that there are things that they learned from Angular and went on to inspire them to create their framework. So Angular has been a big part of the story. Oh, Mugatu, what's going on? Angular is easy to test. That is one of the things that we provide a really great testing story. Let me answer this one question because I think that a question from Romana is going to come up quite a bit. Hi, Mark. Do beginners really have job opportunities at Google? Okay. So here's the truth about job opportunities anywhere. Being able to do the job that you are applying for is going to be your core responsibility. So it's not so much about whether or not there's a beginner chance. Are you a developer who can do the type of work that you want to apply for a job, whether it be at Google or any other organization? All right. So getting into Google is one of the things that people talk about in the industry. So how do you do that? Because there's a follow-up question. Someone asks is, can Sololearn recommend us to Google so we can land a job? Right. So how do you even get a job at Google? Honestly, this is not something that is predictable from the Sololearn side or even from my side as a part of the team. Here's what I can tell you to do. I can tell you what I did. Here's how I got a job at Google. I studied a lot. I spent months studying, and spending months studying gave me the opportunity that when the job opening came up, I was able to jump in and then apply and go through the interview process. What did I study? Well, I studied data structures and algorithms. I studied lots of problem solving. I did tons and tons of leak code. I read books. I just did all this types of study. So that's how I ended up getting to Google. And that's what the story really is that you have to be able to solve problems, right? And I just mean like technical problems in general. And this doesn't matter if it's Google or if it's some other place. Becoming a software engineer is really about putting your problem solving skills into practice to actually meet the needs of the business wherever you apply. Juan, what do you think about that story about like you're using your problem solving skills as a junior developer to try to get a job?
Totally. I think that's what coding is all about, and computational thinking. So it's a way to solve problems in a different way, in a creative way as well. I think most people don't consider coding to be creative, and it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. It's problem solving, and I think that's what we humans are really good at solving problems. So I believe anyone has the capacity. Any human has the capacity to learn to code and get access and like augment that skill to solve problems in different ways with coding.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's see. Iman Salih says, does Google use Angular a lot? Like I said, there are thousands of apps that use Angular inside of Google. So yes. Here's a great question. And this is something that we talked about when we first started talking about the Sololearn course in general is what must I know to learn Angular? Juan, you want to take this one?
I can, yeah. So to be successful and complete the Angular course, you should have some foundations on HTML. That's going to tell you how to structure websites and single page applications. Also some CSS, and that is the language that is used to style, to improve the presentation of an app on a page, and some JavaScript or JS. And that controls how your digital product, your page, your website, your app behaves, and also brings interactivity. So once you know all that, you will be ready to take the Angular course. And actually, that's one of the, so there are two options. So to learn Angular in Sololearn, there are two options. One of them is to take the Angular course. If you are ready for it, go for it. There is an Angular course waiting for you. If you are lacking some of these foundations, if you need a recap on these prerequisites, there is a path, there is a learning path, and that's a series of courses in the order that we recommend. So you take these lessons, following that sequence, and you will be very successful in acquiring these skills.
Perfect. All right. So here's something else that happened when this live stream was announced, this webinar was announced. You all submitted thousands of questions, and we don't have enough time to answer the thousands, but here's what we were able to do. We took as many of those as we could, and we tried to condense them into common themes that would address multiple questions. So, Juan, I think this is a great time for us to go through some of the questions that were pre-submitted. First one, will Sololearn be updating to the newest version of Angular?
Totally, and that is already happening as we are having this conversation. So our team is working on making the changes. Actually, we're testing and finalizing the changes to get everything ready to release as soon as possible. And I don't think that's going to take us more than another week or two. And so that means that the latest version of Angular is something that our learners are going to be able to find in Sololearn, 100%.
Fantastic. Okay, here's a really great question. We got a bunch of these questions. You maybe download the app or you go to the website, but what's the best way to use Sololearn?
So my advice for anyone wanted to learn some code or any like tech skill, it's to complete a lesson or two a day. I think what is important here is to keep the pace going, making consistent, building a habit. So I don't think it works when you do everything in one day, because something that works very, very well in education is just the way we process information and we learn it's called spaced repetition. So you need to be exposed to the same thing over and over again, at least a couple of times. So my first advice would be do a couple of lessons a day and come back every day, at least like 4 or 5 times a week. So that's already a great start. The second thing that I would do if I were a learner interested in learning how to code would be to put what you are learning into practice, like straight into practice. So that's how we learn better. We learn by doing. In this case, it's learning by coding. So put into practice what you are learning before you forget. That's how you are going to be consolidating your knowledge. And what that means in Sololearn is that you can complete these problems, activities, puzzles, quizzes, projects. So there are plenty of opportunities for you to put things into practice as you are learning in Sololearn. So take all these opportunities to complete a project, to build something you care about, and then you can add that to your portfolio. Advice number 3 would be making the most of the community. There's so many people learning with you in Sololearn, so use that community wisely. So there might be situations where you need some help. So ask people for help. There's so many people willing to help others. It could be that you have it more advanced. You already completed a few lessons, and there are opportunities for you to engage in discussions with other learners, go deeper in some topics, but also teach others and support others that are struggling. So that really helps to consolidate knowledge, to put things into practice. And I'm building something meaningful with it. I think we all have different interests. There are people that are interested in like medical applications, in like social applications. So just find the project that you want to build, do it alongside, and put into practice what you're learning, build something authentic, make it your own, and you can always use that in your portfolio, in your CV to land a job.
So can I jump in and add just a little more context here with you as well? As a person I've been working as a software engineer for almost 20 years at this point. And one of the things that I cannot stress enough to people is that you use a tool like Sololearn, a platform like Sololearn, as your way to learn. But as Juan said in almost all of his answers, build something meaningful. Like you just have to get the practice in there, right? You got to build that portfolio. You just have to do that. And I can't stress that enough because that's how I've always learned to improve my skills is that I built something, right? Like even when I was in university, I would take the class, but I would try to build like hobby projects and side projects for myself just to further reinforce that knowledge and to gain even more skills. So excellent questions. Okay, we got a ton of more questions from people. We have more comments than we could probably read. Let's see. Oh man. Oh, here's a good question that I want to toss in there too, from Tai Chi. Onsira says, "What makes Angular unique?" Well, one of the things that makes Angular unique is some of our template language. So you have your template, right? Your template that's a part of your component. So the component's the thing that goes on the screen. Okay. And inside the component, you have a smaller part called a template. That's your HTML markup. Okay. Now, Angular has something that is fantastic that other frameworks have yet to implement, which is this idea of deferrable views, meaning you can define in your template, so you can set a part of your template, like a little line, to say, only load this on a special condition. And what that gives you is a way to optimize your framework. That is really, really special stuff. Then we have something called dependency injection. Now, this is a more advanced like technique, but we have this idea called dependency injection. That's also very unique. That makes Angular unique. One of the things is that we have everything built in. If you use another framework, you usually have to find all your pieces put together from different parts, which is fine. It's not bad. This is what makes us unique, is that we provide router, we provide server-side rendering, we provide templates, we provide state, all those things. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Somebody said something nice about you, Juan. I was trying to find it, but they keep going so fast. Someone said that was excellent. Oh, there it is. Alex says, great advice, Juan. You are amazing. Well, Juan is amazing. That's actually quite true. I've met Juan multiple times, and he continues to impress about how amazing he is. All right, let's see. So many different questions. Let's go to some more of the, let's see. I want to touch on this. I saw this from Raja earlier. Sir, I want to become a software engineer without going to college. Can you give me a roadmap? Juan, I want both of us to answer this and see if we can add some feedback. I'll start quickly. If you want to be a software engineer outside of college, understand a couple of things first. One, understand that some organizations require a college degree, so don't apply to those places, right? Because they want a college or university degree. If they want it, you probably can't get around that requirement. So you got to find a place that is open to self-taught or like boot camp learners or maybe someone using like a learning platform like Sololearn, right? Like you got to find some place like that. Next thing that I can tell you, you got to keep learning. Like no matter what, you got to keep learning. Like you cannot just say, "Oh, I'll take like a little, part of one course and I want a job." It's like, nope, complete the course, build stuff, and then apply, and then like learn from like, yeah, there's so many things you can do, but building and learning are like the top two that I would say. Juan, what do you think?
Totally. So it is true that traditionally people used to go to university to get a job as a developer. I think more and more people are also finding ways to land jobs as developers, doing things slightly different. And I think many people are getting into tech from non-traditional backgrounds as well.
Yep.
I think I have many friends that they have done that very successfully. We also have heard from testimonials from our learners that they are doing that every day as well. So I think what is very important, and I would highlight what you said, is that consistency, like keeping learning new things is fundamental. Because even if you are done with a language or a framework, you need to continuously learn new things, because these things, like, they evolve so fast. So all these languages, they come up with a new version every week, and frameworks as well. So that's why there's so many versions. So get the foundations right. I think that would be my advice. Get the foundations right. Learn to code in any programming language. Learn to think as a coder, as a developer. And what that means is learn to communicate with a machine. And then that will make like the rest of the job very easy, because once you know how to code in one language, you can easily transfer that knowledge to any other programming language. So sometimes people ask me, what is the best programming language to get started? And I think what is important is that you start with one, and once you can program in one language, it's super easy to go from one language to another.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, here's somebody that just commented this. Yes, Sololearn is great. I started to use it like 5 years ago, and with the help of Sololearn, I got my first job as a software developer. Congratulations, that's fantastic. One thing that I will caveat here for this person's experience, they say they used it like 5 years ago, and with the help of Sololearn, they got a job. I think that what's important is not the length of time it took them, is that the consistency toward working toward a job. I know people who has gone through university and it took them a few years to get a job. I know people who have gone through boot camps and had a job quickly. I know some who took years, but consistency is real. If you really want a job as a software engineer or developer, consistency is the number one skill that you have to have when it comes to like the job search. You just got to be persistent. All right, let's see. Okay, let's go back to some more of your questions. Wait, we did that question already. Let's try this one. Since ChatGPT was released, coding has become much easier or not necessary. Do you think it's still necessary? Do you think coding is still a valuable skill? Juan, you want to start off with this? I have a lot of thoughts,
We'll make a start. Yeah.
but I'd love for you to start.
So I would say that maybe not coding in the way we know it. That's so I think that's changing. So I think what's going to happen is that developers are going to partner up with AI assistants to increase productivity. So that's the direction in which I see this going, like very, very, very soon. Like we are already there. So still learning how to code, or being able to code, to program, I think is a skill that is super valuable. Even in a world like in 50 years when we are not coding in the way we like used to. Because what coding teaches you, and we touched on that already, is problem solving. So by learning to code, what you are learning is to solve problems. And you are really developing, when you learn to code, you develop a new mindset. You approach things from a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the way we have for many, many, many years to communicate with machines. It is true that now we are seeing different ways for humans to communicate with machines, to give instructions to machines. But for many, many years, that was pretty much the only way we had. So by learning how to code, but having that skill in your arsenal, that's going to make you so much better, so much efficient. every time you need to interact with a machine. So I don't think that coding skills are not going to be of value in the future. I don't believe in that future. And being a coder, knowing how to code, is always going to make you, it's going to make you stand out from competitors, from people that maybe didn't know how to program, and now they are using assistants. I think you are still going to be able to find a way to use these assistants in a unique way and in a very, very efficient way. What do you think about that?
So here's what I think is interesting, and I'll pose a question back to the group of folks, because again, these are questions that are like the common themes, right? If you are worried about this, here's a way to reframe it for yourself. How will you know if something is incorrect if you don't know how to code? How will you know? We know that AI models produce hallucinations, right? Which is this idea that it'll sound like it's right, but it'll be incorrect, or it may introduce a bug. And yes, they will improve, but how will you know when it's right and when it's wrong? The programming skills, I'm counting on programming skills still being valuable, but everything that Juan said is 100% accurate in my opinion, Mark's opinion, that we will use these tools to be more productive. I think the baseline will change because you will be able to ask Bard or some other like GPT system to create like a basic website. You will be able to do that 100%, right? And right now you can't really do it quickly, but now you'll be able to do it with like one command, right? But how will you know what's right or what's wrong? Or how will you improve it? How will you edit it? How will you compose these systems, right? You may get it to generate one part, maybe another part. How will you know how to put them together? You still need to know how to program. Great questions. Let's talk about this one. I get easily discouraged and distracted when trying to code and learning to code. Is there any advice?
I can make a start here, and please, Mark, jump in if you have
Sure.
any additional ideas. So I think learning a new skill is hard, and it's very easy to get demotivated when learning something new. Like, and I don't think it's specific to coding. Like, I'm trying to learn how to play the guitar. The same thing happens to me. It requires consistency, and sometimes I run out of motivation. So, but there are a few tricks that we can use to help with this. So I would say that when you are trying to learn to code, something that is gonna make it less tedious and hopefully more engaging is the fact that you are learning by doing. And again, what that means is learning by coding. So when choosing a course, when choosing when choosing a program to become a developer, to learn the foundations of coding, look for those learning experiences that make the learning active. So you are going to be coding from day one. You're going to be putting things into practice. You're not going to be sitting and listening to lots of theory, because that's definitely not only more engaging and fun, but also that's how we learn. We remember a very small percentage of what we watch and what we listen to, but we remember a lot of what we do. So tip number one, find a course, a learning experience that keep the learning very, very active. So that's number one. Tip number two. So sometimes it feels very lonely, and that can contribute to demotivation. So learn with a friend, learn with a family member, learn with someone that can hold you accountable, and that has massive benefits. If you don't know anyone that wants to learn with you at this particular point in time, find a learning experience where the social interactions included. So when you learn with people and you know that people that are learning with you, that helps a lot. So when you need help, you're gonna get it. You can also establish some kind of like healthy competition. So that's some people that I think that really works for me. Like knowing that there's someone that is already completed 3 lessons, and I only completed 2, that really helps me to like push my limits and go the extra mile. So make it social, learn with others, and use social learning experiences. And then tip number 3 would be build something that you care about, that is authentic. We all have different interests. We all have different skill sets. We all want to learn to code, to do something with it. So start doing it. You don't need to wait to know how to program. to build your project. Start working on your project. Along the way, you can take a course and start your project at the same time and use what you are learning to make progress, baby steps with the project that you have in mind. Is there anything you want to add, Mark?
No, you covered that perfectly. I just will say that I love coding with friends. And getting the community, right? Like just learning with friends, getting the community is really helpful. One thing that I do, well, I could say what my personal habits are to help me from getting distracted when I'm coding or when I'm working. I have a pretty demanding like responsibility list. There's so many things. Some of that's my fault though, because I just take on too much work. But I will say what I do is I use services that can help me. So for example, I use like the Pomodoro timer where I work in 25-minute increments, then a 5-minute break. During that time, though, I turn my phone to do not disturb, right? That's a really big thing. I don't like look at my phone. I don't answer texts. I don't do any of that stuff during that 25 minutes of focus. And then I repeat that and take small breaks in between. I use binaural beat music to help me focus as well. So that way I can just stay focused for a longer time. All right, we have about 24 minutes to go and we have hundreds of questions. So let's see if we can do almost like a speed round and see how many of these we can answer, because I don't want our friends at home who came to hang out with us to not get their questions answered. Okay, let's see. I'll say quickly, why learning skill is important rather than degree. It's not really degree or learning. It's the thing that fits you. Some people need the environment of like a degree environment. Some people are just really good at doing it without it, right? And they can go, they're self-motivated enough. So it doesn't have to be one is more important than the other. I think you need learning skills no matter what. And I think a degree could help. And Juan, if you ever have anything to say about anything that I'm saying, jump in, please.
100% agree with you. I don't think I have anything extra to say this time.
All right. Awesome. Let's check out this question. Are there any opportunities for teens at Google? What I would say is check out internships. I don't know what the age limit is, but check out for internships. And if you, I mean, that's the best thing I can say because I just don't know the full answer to that. Okay, but check out our internship to see if there's anything there. That could be helpful. One other thing that I would say also check out is if you're like legal age to work and you're just like ready for a full-time job, apply anyway, right? Like, I don't know if there's any discrimination around that, or not discrimination, but I don't know if there's any like limitation. That's the right word, limitation there. But you might be a teen genius and ready to work. So apply where you want to apply. Now, how do you include Angular in backend projects? Good question. So you can use different backends. Like if you want, one thing that we can do right now is if you create a new Angular project, we can help you set up a backend with Node.js, right? And we'll help you set all that up from creating your project. But you can use .NET. So like C#, you can use Java, you really can use anything for your backend. Okay, let's see. This is a good question. Now, with this course, is it available for all users or pro users?
This course is completely free, and anyone who sign up and create an account with Sololearn can take this course for free.
Boom. Completely free. Are there any plans for functional components in the future? Not that we know of right now. Class components right now are solving the needs of the developers. But I'd be interested to know if there's something that you cannot achieve with the class-based component that you're trying to achieve. Let us know. Okay, let's see. What are the basic concepts? Okay, so we covered this one already about basic concepts. Let's see. We covered the update. Yes, there's an update coming. Oh, that's funny. Sam asked, did you use a program to find some of the things that are submitted questions? Because that would be so Google. Maybe not. I cannot confirm or deny that I may have used some tools to, we all use some tools. I cannot confirm or deny. All right, let's see. So good that Angular's on Sololearn. Gabriel de los Rios. Mira, you are always hanging out with us. Thank you for coming to hang out again. And it is very cool. They're a great platform, and we thought it could be really cool for them to continue to train developers in different spaces. And we approached them, and they were like, yes, we're totally open to it. And here we are. Okay, let's see. Another one. What are the advantages of the certificate? Oh, good question from Nordine. You want to say a few words about this?
Totally. I think with any certificate of a course that you complete online, I think what is good about it is that you can attract potential recruiters. And that's something that we found that our learners are doing a lot. So every time they share the certificates, they post them on social media. So that's some advantages of doing that. So we have testimonials of people that they landed their first job because someone saw that they have that new skill now in their skill set. Even so, like friends, like reposting and like sharing that like friends got a new certificate. And so that's the value that I see in certificates. So you can prove that you have completed a course, you went through the experience, that you have completed a project, because when you complete a course in Sololearn, you are going to be solving some problems. You're going to be completing some projects. And if you have been smart about it, you probably put those projects also in a portfolio and in your CV, which means that you are ready to share it with potential employers. So these are some of the advantages that I can see about getting a certificate when you complete a course.
Fantastic. Here's a question. Why many colleges teach AngularJS in bachelor's degree? Is it worth it to learn AngularJS, or should I ignore and start learning Angular? So some universities may just be using curriculum that could be updated. Okay, they can use some updates. You should definitely just start with Angular because there are more opportunities with Angular. Let's see. So we did that one. There's so many. All right, let's go to some more of the pre-submitted questions because I don't want to forget those friends. So what can Angular be used for? Any practical examples? Yes, I can. So if you look at the Firebase console, that's written in Angular. Google Messages is written in Angular. Google Cloud Platform, the UI written in Angular. So scalable applications, we really do mean scalable applications. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of applications outside of Google that use Angular. So you could build something like an e-commerce. You can build a personal blog. You can build anything you could really think of, but those are like places, and you could build dashboards and portals, like internal portals, external portals. You can build pretty much anything you want. I'll tell you what you should not build in Angular right now. Don't build video games, right? Like if you want to build like a fast video game, this is not the framework for that, right? But if maybe a turn-based game like card game or something, or question game, you can do. But like an actual video game, like don't do that, because then it's a lot of pain that you don't need. What level of coder should you be to learn Angular? You should be whatever level coder that you want, but you should have some basics, as Juan mentioned earlier, some basic HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. Okay, let's see. We talked about coding skills. Could you use AI with it or for it? You can actually use AI in Angular. There are plugins that you could use AI for, that you could plug in directly to your Angular app using something like Firebase extensions as a platform that plugs right into Angular. And then your Angular app can have some AI powers to it. What's the future of Angular? What are the plans? Well, the best plan is to check out our roadmap that we have on angular.dev. Hey, friends behind the scenes, can we do two things? Can we put the link to the course in the chat again? And then can we please put a link to the roadmap in the chat? So we'll put both of those in the chat. But what are the future plans are continue to improve Angular's performance and developer experience. One of the things we're working on right now is getting our signals implementation out of developer preview and into production ready, and to make it even faster. To be honest with you, make Angular faster and better for people. What's different about Angular from React View, etc.? Why should you choose Angular over the others? Well, one of the reasons you should choose Angular over the others is if you like what we offer. So if you like a really robust tooling experience, you should choose Angular. If you like futuristic deferrable loading of like lazy loading, like futuristic style lazy loading, you should use Angular. If you like to write code that's with best practices built in, meaning things like object-oriented programming, services, dependency injection, you should use Angular. If you're really interested in scalable apps, you should use Angular. So, and that's not to say that the other things are bad. You're asking me why I think you should use Angular. I'm just saying you should use Angular, but everything is great. You should use what you need to use to meet the task that you need. Okay, more questions. All right. Oh, this is a good question. We don't have an answer, but I don't want to speculate too much. But what if any other collaborations are in store? I can say a little bit about this. I think we're going to talk more about what the future, like what future teaching of Angular looks like on the platform. And we'll have some discussions around that. Is there anything else we can mention without like over promising or giving away too many secrets?
I wouldn't add anything to what you just said. So just stay tuned, and maybe there will be some surprises, some nice surprises.
Yeah, you all keep using Sololearn, Angular course, like keep doing it, and then maybe there will be more collaborations, right? We'll work on more stuff if you all like it. And I think another thing that's really important is to let us all know what you think of the work that's been done so far, because the feedback is so helpful to iterate and to improve, but we can't iterate and improve unless we know what's going on. We answered this question. Will Sololearn update to newest version of Angular? We got that one. See, we've been doing a good job. Could we give our best basic career job learning advice? Yes, we can. I can tell you what my best advice is for career. Okay, we're a career job and then learning. Well, I'll say this. One of the things that you will find is that nothing beats getting a job for learning, meaning that once you get a job, you will learn so much on the job. Like actually doing the job, you will learn so much. And I think that don't try to wait until you get a job to, wait till you learn everything to try to get a job. Learn, practice, do, and apply for a job, because you're still going to learn so much more. You'll never know everything before you apply. What do you think,
And I
Juan?
think totally, yeah. And for me I think for many years I have been a perfectionist until I realized that was holding me back. So my mindset was always, I will apply for this job once I have done X, Y, and Z. I will start working on this project once I know all these like foundations. So don't wait for it. Just start today. Stop procrastinating. Start learning. Start learning and start building what you want to build.
Stop procrastinating. Woo, that's a bar. You got to tell people that, because it's really tempting to procrastinate, but don't procrastinate. Let's see. I'm 45 plus. Hey, I'm in my 40s too. That's a good time. And attempting to change careers, is that possible? It's too late to learn. No, it is totally possible. So I'm going to tell you a story about a good friend of mine. His name is Lawrence, and he goes under the name Lawrence D Codes. And he started his career as a software engineer at the age of 45. Actually, he was a restaurant manager, and he switched into software development at the age of 45. So you totally can change careers. The only thing that can hold you back from changing careers, and I don't mean that in like a harmful way. I mean that in being honest. Like, if you want something, you have to go for it. You just have to go for it. You have to be consistent and disciplined in your pursuit of that thing, but you can have it if you're willing to put in the work. So definitely keep going and just don't give up. I think the one thing that's really common is that people get so close. It's like they're digging, they get so close, and then they quit just before they get that breakthrough to the other side. So don't give up. You can totally do it. Juan, what do you think?
Totally. I also have examples of friends and even family members that they just did this. So a friend of mine, he's called Michael. He was an architect, like a building architect for many years, and he just landed a job in the tech industry in the data area. And he actually completed a couple of courses from Sololearn. I have been supporting him as well. So he just landed a job in a tech company doing data analysis, and he's using Python and SQL a lot.
Fantastic. I love that story. So yeah, keep going. I'm 15 plus. What does that mean? That means you're 16 then? If you're 15 plus? I don't know. What does that mean? And I want a coding career or internship. Any advice? Yes. Apply, build stuff, and apply. Here's something that's really, I get really excited. Sorry, let me calm down. Here's something that's really underrated, friends at home. Go to your local meetups. If there is not a meetup, start one in your community, right? And give like little talks about like code and stuff. Just do that. I mean, that is one of the like greatest things. I went to a meetup where this kid was probably like, I'm sorry, kid. I don't mean to say you're a kid, but this guy was actually a kid. He was like 12 or 13, and he gave a meetup talk about something that he just learned. And nobody was judging him like, oh, you're a kid, you can't be in here. We were just so impressed that he wanted to just try something and do something, you know what I mean? And try it. So we were so like excited. Yeah, it's really, really great. Juan, did you want to share your screen again?
I can, yes. And as we're getting close to the end of the session, maybe we can go through the different options we have to learn.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw you prepping, and I want to make sure we can get to it. Okay, let's go get a couple more questions here. Let's see. Starting a career coding and looking for a job. What should I have in my portfolio? Oh, Juan, this is a good question for you. What should they have in their portfolio, and what kind of skills are recruiters looking for? Is there any advice?
It's going to depend on what type of career they want to like, because in the tech industry, there's so many jobs, different like roles that you can get. Having the foundations of coding is key to start to have an entry level job offer, and getting familiar as well with developer tools like GitHub for collaboration with other developers, so you can prove that you are part of a team as well. You can use GitLab to build also your portfolio there. So skills, I would say, prove that you have the basics, build something with it, and showcase that in your portfolio by building something that you care about, that you love, you have an interest for, and also show some proficiency in the tools that developers use in their daily jobs for cooperation, organization, and collaboration, like GitHub and GitLab. And I think more and more these days, even communication skills. Like, I think some people think that because you want to become a coder, you're going to be left alone in front of a computer, just like coding all day. So developing some communication skills and maybe showcasing a couple of projects where you have done this as part of a team, collaborating with others, helping and supporting others. That's also something that recruiters are looking for a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the portfolio is key, but show real examples of applications. Here's a really great trick you can do. Really great trick you can do. Find a website that you use and try to replicate some of the functionality, right, of that website. So let's say that if you use something like Instagram, make an Instagram clone, not for the purpose of trying to get like money for it, but just to practice the skills. Make it responsive so it works on desktop and web. That way, when the recruiter sees his portfolio or a hiring manager, they're really used to that like design and that feature. They know how to use your app. Another thing you can do, make sure your stuff's on GitHub. That way, when they look, they can find it. But when it's on GitHub, put a good README, right? Make sure the README is nice and well thought out. These are small things you can do. All right. People are spamming some comments. Friends, don't spam comments because you make it hard for us to like see things. Okay. Please don't spam comments. We are going to answer some questions from the chat. Okay. We talked about the advantages. Let's see. What do we think of GitHub Copilot? I think I can say for both of us, we think it's good. And if you can use it, but be careful. You can't use it at work at some places. So make sure you're using it at the right place. Let's see. What's this one here? We said that one. Does Google allow online training? There are several training programs and code labs and things you can do on Google. So yes, you could definitely find online training there. Okay, let's see. Hi, that one. Let's see. How deep can I go in coding using Sololearn? Great question. It's a really good question.
You can go pretty deep. So we have courses for you to get started if you want to get introduced to coding, and we have paths that you're gonna get really deep into some coding aspects. For example, there is this is a really good example. We have a path, which is a series of courses to learn Angular. You can start from the very basic of HTML and how the web works, all the way up to styling with CSS, adding interactivity with ES, and using a framework like Angular. So this is an example of a wide range of courses at different levels that you can take.
There you go. Love it. Okay, let's see. We answered that one. Okay. Is Angular really needed in the community? Well, Angular is definitely needed in the community because there's lots of organizations that use Angular, and then there's lots of people, lots of developers that build Angular apps. I mean, I know that where this question is probably coming from is like, oh, why do you need Angular when you have the other things? A lot of the things that people use were actually piloted by Angular. Angular was the first framework to actually use TypeScript. Long before any of the other ones even considered it, we launched with TypeScript. So Angular, has had a really important part of the story and will continue to. But good question. What's some advice you get? Okay, we answered this one in a different way. I want to become programmers. One other thing is if you also can check out things like Google Developer Student Clubs, GDSC, check those out as well. Okay, because you can find some really cool stuff there. Let's see. I love you, Angular Popoy. Hey, listen, Angular community loves you back. Thank you for being part of the community. How comprehensive is the Angular tutorial provided on this channel compared to Sololearn? Oh, good question. Love this question. So, what we're seeing is that with Sololearn is a different modality, like a different style of learning, but some of the content is similar, and you can learn some things here on the Angular course, but you may see the similar things because both of these are targeted at people new to Angular. So you find the path that works for you. You might like a video course, or you might like a written course, or you might like the fun kind of bite-sized course that Sololearn does. It really just depends. Okay. But good question. Let's see. Are you planning release new courses? We talked about what some of the ideas are. Let's see. EQ Pen, can you use Angular for mobile apps like Apple does with Swift? You can use Angular for mobile apps. You have three paths. You can use what's called a PWA, a progressive web app that comes built in with Angular. You could use something like Ionic, which is a community like framework that can build mobile apps. And you can also use something like NativeScript that also is another framework that you can use with Angular to use Angular features but build mobile apps. The great thing about all three of those approaches, they're actually not just unique to Angular, so you can use any framework you want to do those three approaches, but Angular also supports those three. All right, let's see. There's not an Angular certificate offered by Google at this time. Good question. Is Angular a programming language? No, it is a framework. TypeScript is a programming language. Python is a programming language. JavaScript is a programming language. So you have the programming language, which is the language that you use to create things, right? Then you have the framework. You think of the framework as like the things that go around the language to help you build things. It helps to make things faster for you. For example, you could either hammer in a nail with a nail and a hammer, or you could use a nail gun. A nail gun is kind of like a framework a little bit because it kind of helps you make your job easier, but you could still do the job without the nail gun. See the difference there? Hopefully that's helpful. I think more mature folk like me have an advantage because we've done and seen so much. And like me, a lot of us have, I think this is experience in various industries. Snaffle's cat. Yes, there is totally an advantage that you should use for yourself. Think of it as what you get to offer to whomever you're applying for, is that you do have this work experience. You don't have to teach you how to work. You already know how to work. I think that is an underrated skill. And then you can try to apply your previous experience to your new role is also a good idea. Juan, do you have any notes on this one?
Yeah, I would just agree with Snappy's cat. Definitely having this whole experience like on your back, it's something very beneficial. And I think that's actually something that when you are looking for a new job is very appreciated as well. The fact that you come from a different industry. So I would say like the takeaway here could be for those of you who are thinking about maybe changing careers or like trying a different sector, yeah, just do it because it's something that it's more and more appreciated nowadays.
Fantastic. All right, we're just about out of time, but we're going to try to just handle just a few more questions. 289 comments. I mean, there is no way we could have kept up with all you all. Let's see. One, I'm here to make sure you guys know that. What? That was. Oh, okay. Juan, I am here. This is Quentin Roque, maybe. Just want to make sure you guys know that Quentin Roque from Manor, Texas, learning Sololearn and programming help. Cool. Welcome. So glad to
Very
hear
cool.
you. Okay, let's see. We'll do just a couple more pre-planned questions that you folks have asked before. What jobs? Where are they? What are they? What skills are companies looking for in an Angular job? There are jobs all over the place. You could just do a search on LinkedIn and you can find thousands of Angular jobs. And so what do you need to be able to do is build web apps with Angular. So those are the skills they're looking for. So you need TypeScript, definitely need CSS, you definitely need HTML. There are all kinds of companies, Bill.com, there's Cisco, there's just so many. Home Depot uses Angular. There are lots of places that use Angular all over the place. So there's just so many to list. Check out the job board, search for Angular, and then I'm sure you'll find example. This is a good question because we got lots of questions about is Google hiring. You can always check the Google careers page to find out about jobs that are available at Google. Let's answer this one, Juan, because I think this is a hard one to speculate, but I still would like your ideas too. Google in the tech industry just had a lot of layoffs. What does the future of work look like? It's really hard to predict. I've been working a long time. I mean, a long time. I was working during 2008 when there were layoffs, right? And I've been laid off before, and I found another job. I think the future of work will evolve, and the best thing that you can do is not live in fear around what could happen, because you can't control it. There's nothing that being afraid of what could happen is going to do for you. You cannot control it. Just be ready. Just be ready keep your CV or your resume ready, keep your skills sharp, and just be ready to do the next thing that you need to do. Go ahead, Juan. I'd love to hear what you think here.
Totally. I think it comes in waves. So it's the economical situation. As you said, we cannot control that. Focus on what you can control. And what you can control is picking up new skills, making sure that you have you stand out from other candidates when applying for a job. So my advice would be, it is true, and it is sometimes sad that this happens, but as individuals, sometimes we feel like we don't have any control over it. I think we do, in a way. Just redirect your efforts on the things that you can control.
That's right. Okay, friends. I think that we are.
I think you're on mute, Mark.
There I go. Something weird happened. Okay. Yeah, we're just about out of time. Can I say thank you to everybody who came? There are so many questions. So many questions. I wish we had more time to answer, but we're out of time. If you like something more like this, comment down below and let us know if you'd like to see more types of streams where from Angular, where we talk to people who are teaching Angular and talk about what they've been working on, and then how their platforms are working. This is a great conversation, Juan. It is an honor to chat with you, and thank you for just being here, answering questions. Thank you to the Sololearn team for being a part of this. Angular team, thank you for supporting the stream as well. And hey, thank all of you, because you showed up to the stream and you asked so many fantastic questions. We were overwhelmed by how many wonderful questions that we have. Juan, before we say goodbye to our friends, any last thoughts?
Yes. So if you already know Angular, keep using it, keep working with it, build great things. If you don't know Angular yet, it's never too late. Start learning Angular, and you have a couple of options with Sololearn. You can start from the beginning. If you still need the foundations, if you already have the foundations, you can jump straight into the Angular course. It was a pleasure being here with you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. It is my pleasure. And friends, while you're out there, do me a favor. No matter what you're doing, no matter which framework you're using, be sure to go out there and build great apps. We'll see you the next time. Bye for now.